Hello and welcome to number 2 of the Addiction Free Naturally podcast. My name is Graham Poppet, and having overcome addiction a few years back, I studied the power of one's mind, and I've since helped others overcome addiction naturally. Now, my intention for these podcasts is to plant that seed of possibility and to show you that anyone can overcome any addiction naturally. Now, as a caveat, I do want to say at the outset, I'm not a doctor and I'm not prescribing medical advice. However, I am a qualified transformational coach and RTT hypnotherapist. In this podcast, we're going to talk about beliefs. In particular, we're going to talk about what beliefs are and why they are so important. You see, we don't know what we don't know. And the problem is, because we don't know what we don't know, we're unconsciously living our lives without giving a second thought to our beliefs, where they come from, and if they're serving us. You know, it's true in all areas of our lives, but takes on a new meaning and importance when we're talking about overcoming addiction. There are so many societal beliefs that keep us trapped, and they're not necessarily true. Yet as addicts, we buy into them. I know I did. You know, core beliefs influence us. Everything we do in our lives is influenced by our core beliefs. Often these are shaped by childhood experiences and are deeply ingrained beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world around us. Sometimes these core beliefs can lead to cognitive distortions, meaning that you get an inaccurate view of reality. So, what is a belief? A belief is an internal feeling that something is true, even though that belief may be unproven or irrational. But beliefs are assumptions or convictions, and they are convictions that we hold as true about something or someone. You know, beliefs become our base as well as the bridge to our behaviours. You know, beliefs are the equivalent of road traffic signals in your life. You know, they're the signs which are giving us directions, meaning, and purpose in all areas of our life. You know, these can either propel our lives forward or drag us back. And you know, really, there are two types of belief as depicted in the traffic lights. You know, they're either empowering beliefs or limiting beliefs. You know, a limiting belief is like the red stop signal. You know, it's stopping you from moving forward, while an empowering belief or a positive belief is the green go signal. You know, it's allowing you to move forward in your life or in your addiction recovery. Self beliefs influence our goals. They influence all our strategies on our recovery and all our accomplishments in life. So, do you know which beliefs are actually empowering you? Because your beliefs operate on a subconscious level. You know, you may mistake your belief for the truth, as you only see what you believe about yourself. But there's very little in this world which is really truth. Yes, it's true right now that you're listening to me on a podcast or maybe on a YouTube video, wherever you see this posted. But everything else is interpretation. I'm giving you my opinion. You're making an interpretation. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It just is. Now, why are beliefs so important? Well, our reality is created by our thoughts. Our thoughts create our beliefs. Our beliefs then determine the actions that we take, and our actions will create certain results in our life and particularly in our addiction recovery. And as those results therefore provide feedback on how our beliefs are serving us. So it's like a feedback loop. Your results in life, in all areas of your life, are a direct consequence of the beliefs in any particular area of your life. Your addiction recovery is dependent on the beliefs that you hold around addiction and around your recovery. So, are your beliefs serving you or are they holding you back? So, let's just look at a few. Yeah, here's some classic ones. Addiction is a disease, or the contrary one, addiction is a choice. Once an addict, always an addict. Addiction is hereditary. I'm not strong enough or good enough to stop addiction. I don't know how to stop. You know, nothing is working for me. addiction changes the brain chemistry, and it's impossible to be normal again. I can control my addiction. How many times have you heard that one or said that one? It's too difficult to stop. Only God can save you. Actually, I like my addiction. The chemical hooks are too strong to overcome. I'm a bad person, that's why I'm an addict. I can't tolerate life without my addiction. I don't have the willpower to recover. Rehab is expensive. I'm sure you recognize some of those. I mean, obviously, there's lots of different ones, but they're probably some of the main ones that I encounter. So if your beliefs don't serve you, then you can change them. And you can literally just change them just like that at a conscious level. Beliefs are only as true as you allow them to be. And if you have listened to the first podcast, you'll remember my journey where I listened to this reporter, this British reporter, who gave me information that really challenged the beliefs, the societal beliefs that I had allowed myself to accept as truth. But when I started to challenge them, I could eradicate those beliefs and change them. I mean, let's look at some beliefs which have been eradicated around the world at various stages. First of all, at one point in history, the smartest minds in the world thought the world was flat. But we now know that the world is round. Again, at another point in history, the smartest minds in the world thought the atom was the smallest particle. And then they broke it open and there was all other stuff inside, yes? Another belief was the brain was fixed. But in 1948, neuroplasticity proved that the neurons within the brain could indeed be changed. So neuroplasticity is the gateway to change your mind. So therefore, that's a belief that I adopted, that I now know that it's possible to change any area of my life by using the science of neuroplasticity. You know, rapid and permanent transformation can occur when you change your beliefs, because your beliefs will determine every single aspect of your life. Your beliefs are your beliefs. You know, they're not mine. I'm not asking you to adopt my beliefs. You have to adopt the beliefs that you feel serve you. And it actually doesn't matter what is true. It only matters what you believe is true. Because with enough work, you will make it true. Now, there's two contrary. Let's look at a couple of really contradictory addiction beliefs. The first one is, you know, addiction is a disease. And the second one is that addiction is a choice. And these are probably two of the most contentious beliefs that people get hung up on. You know, the old school thought was addiction is a disease. In fact, for most people who have ever been through some sort of treatment center or rehab will be familiar with what's called the disease model of addiction, because many remedies are actually based on the premise that addiction is actually a disease. Now, the choice model, however, looks at it a different way. It thinks back to when you were sober, and you know, you'd likely find that you did not consciously make that choice to struggle with addiction. You know, that is, you made the choice maybe to use the first time just to try a substance, or maybe to take that gamble, or whatever your addiction might be. And the choice model, therefore, doesn't look at addiction, looks at addiction rather from a biological point of view. Instead, it looks at it from a thought processes. It's looking at your thoughts affecting your actions. And, you know, we've already talked about that. We've discussed that your thoughts affect your actions through this. You know, your thoughts create your beliefs, create your actions, create your results, and creates a feedback. And then it determines, you know, you get told the result of that in a feedback loop. So whether you believe it is a disease or is a choice, as an addict, though, you must take steps to control and stop the addiction. Whichever belief you hold, you need to find interpretations that will support that belief for you. Because there's going to be belief on both sides. You will find evidence if you want for all sides. People can always find evidence. That's why some people to this day still feel the world is flat, whereas the majority believe it to be round. So find interpretations to support your belief. For example, some people swear by the 12-step processes. It's, they say it's the only way to stop, while others have found it didn't work for them. The people it doesn't work for, they aren't hopeless cases, are they? They just need a different approach. So if you've tried to quit before using a particular method and it didn't work, then try something else and keep trying until you succeed. Now, I don't like that word try, because for me, try is an empty word. Try and pick up a pen. You either pick it up or you don't. But I'm just using that here as a way of saying, look, keep going, because there's so many different things at work today, but most people are still caught up in maybe looking at the societal sort of methods of what they should use. So beliefs, just to reiterate, beliefs are only as true as you allow them to be. So what you need to do is to pick the beliefs that support your recovery, whatever they might be for you. So go through and look at all your beliefs and say, well, is that really true? A belief is a bit like a stool with 3 legs. When you start knocking one of those legs, when you start dismantling it, when you start questioning it, it takes the power away. And that's what I've done. And that's what that report I mentioned in podcast 1 done for me. When I started to think about those drug addicts, or in America coming back and then not being drug addicts, and I looked at the report he was talking about where grandmas go in and have a hip replacement, but they don't come out drug addicts, even though they'd effectively taken the strongest form of heroin, i.e. morphine. So that questions some of my beliefs around the whole thing about addiction and how it can grab hold of people. So if you are who you are becoming, I should say, who you are becoming is actually key to your recovery. And we're going to talk about a particular model in the next podcast, which will help you here. So who you are becoming in your recovery is key to your longevity within that recovery. And I must reiterate, though, that rapid permanent transformation can occur and will occur when you start changing your beliefs and when you link that to a commitment and taking responsibility. So that was the end of the number 2 podcast in this series, all about beliefs. So what I want to leave you with now is the question to go back and look at all your beliefs and ask yourself, are they serving you? And actually really question every belief you have around addiction and start to challenge them. Look at it from a place of, almost zero, if that makes sense. It's like, go back to what Elon Musk would call first principles. So question everything from a clean state. What does this belief do for me? Is it really true? Or is it just something that I picked up through society or through my parents or through other indoctrinations? Because, if you've grown up, for instance, seeing your parents as alcoholics, then obviously that's going to have an impact on you. So you have to look at all different aspects and just question if you've literally just been indoctrinated with other people's beliefs. And I cannot tell you the power of questioning your beliefs and how it can start to set you free within your journey of recovery. So, Graham Hoppet, wishing you a fantastic day, wherever you are in the world and whatever time it might be. And I just want to absolutely say you can eradicate your addiction. You can become addiction-free naturally. I look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Have a great day.